Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So this is a weekly reading for the Divine Masculine. So we'll just get right into it. So you guys' weekly lesson is Page of Swords. So what I was getting with the Page of Swords is that there's a lot of new thoughts coming into your, mental space that are mostly about you and about what you want to implement in your life that is making you come off very insensitive to others in your life. So your relationships with friends, family, lovers, it just seems like they're not in the focus right now for you. So it's just coming off very insensitive. Or the obstacle with this lesson is the Nine of Pentacles. And then we have the Ace of Pentacles. So you are focused on yourself completely. You are focused on what I created, what money I am making, what do I want to do with my life, where do I want to go. And with that, you are kind of missing the external mark in your other relationships. So your friendships, your family, your career, your partner, whatever. You are just coming off very self-centered, and you're not realizing how that really affects them. You're not seeing how your mental focus on yourself is coming off as very insensitive to what they need and want and feel in their lives. Which, if you've been on the receiving end, everybody knows that that's not a good place to be in, because if you are building with somebody emotionally or trying to build a stable foundation with somebody in a relationship or friendship or whatever, you do need that that connection, that acceptance of one another, that understanding of one another. So how to face these challenges, we have the Three of Pentacles, and then we have the Hermit. So how to fix this kind of selfish tendency that the Divine Masculine is going through. And I want to clarify that it is not an issue to put yourself first. It is not an issue to put your needs and necessities first. And the Hermit tells us this. But in the same breath, you have to be sensitive to others. So this is what this Three of Pentacles in Hermit is asking you for, is to find that balance between, okay, I'm building this relationship with this person. How can I give them or respect their needs and boundaries while still respecting my own? How can I still be in my hermit mode where I am everything I need, but also being what they need me to be? And this isn't to sit here and tell you to change everything about yourself, because that's not the angle I'm getting at. The angle I'm getting at is to have a successful relationship in any facet of your life, romantic or platonic. It needs to be about reciprocation. It needs to be about give and take. You cannot just continuously take in the relationship without pouring into it as well. You cannot consistently take the building blocks from that relationship to build your own foundation and your own career path without using them or replacing them with another building block in that relationship. Does that make sense? If it doesn't, I'll explain a little bit deeper. So if you're building a house with your friend, lover, whatever this person is, this opportunity possibly, if that's the case for you. If you're sitting here building a house, right? You have four walls. If you take one of those walls and those building blocks and focus on your own shit that you're building, you're ultimately depleting this relationship. Yes, it's good to focus on this house as well, because you also need your own structure and stability in your own personal life. But what are you going to pour back into this? And what are you going to pour into this? It is a constant tempering that is a necessity in relationships. You can't consistently just take and expect the other person to keep replenishing what you leave them with. You can't expect the other person to keep pouring into a relationship if you keep taking away from it. If you keep turning around and focusing on yourself, how do you ever expect the relationship to be successful further on? And also when we're in this type of vibration of trying to build with somebody but keep our own identity throughout that building block foundation type of process in a relationship, it becomes very hard because the lines become a little bit blurred between who you are and what they need from you. So the message is really, how can you remain true to yourself, true to your own needs, true to your own boundaries, true to your own voice, but still honoring and giving the relationship what it needs to? How can you still honor what that person needs? How can you bend a little bit so there's a beautiful ebb and flow going in between you two? Because if there's no ebb and flow, there's a blockage. And when there's a blockage, that stops gifts from coming alive. That stunts the growth, really. When you're consistently focused on yourself in a relationship dynamic or a career dynamic or business partnership, whatever have you, whatever your situation is, you stop the flow and you stop the beauty of the river flowing to create more, to build more, to bring more into life. So when you finally come to the point of learning how to respect your own boundaries, respect their boundaries, make sure your necessities and desires are taken care of, make sure that person's needs and desires are also taken care of, that's when we have the outcome that we do. So we have the Lovers card for the outcome, and then we have the Knight of Cups. So when you allow this blockage to be lifted, because selfishness can really stunt growth in relationships or business partnerships, yada yada, like I've been saying, it can really stunt the growth. And once that selfishness is lifted, once you start thinking of the other person in mind, or keep their interests in mind, or respect their boundaries, and you just kind of have that in the back of your mind as well, that breaks the blockage, that opens and lifts that up and out of your way to where you can come into a beautiful unity in this relationship or dynamic. You can have the emotional fulfillment. You can have the gifts of, true, deep, profound emotional connections, pleasurable connections, joyous connections. Because as you see, like, the sun is behind the Lovers. There's everything positive and beautiful about this card. It is the balance, the yin and yang, the harmonious space that we all strive to get to. And then the Knight of Cups is really that offering of emotional fulfillment on both ends, because now it's not all about you. It's about you and that person, or you and that business partner, you and that family member. And that really opens a floodgate of opportunity to arise and be lived through, and it's gorgeous as fuck. Like, it's beautiful. So yeah, just stop being selfish. Think about other people. Like, yes, it's good to focus on yourself, but if you're only focused on yourself, then what's happening to the other relationships in your life? They're just gonna fizzle out without you even noticing, because you're so worried about what the fuck you're doing. Literally, you can be so focused in your own work that you don't even realize that you're chasing your friends away, you're chasing your lover away, you're chasing your family members away, because it's always about you. It's always about what you need, what you want, what you desire, but you're not offering that listening ear to what they need. You're not offering them the presence and space to be themselves, to express themselves, to actually need you in return. If you need them for a listening ear, it's just you talking about your priorities, your business models, and whatever. But when the opposite happens, when they need you to listen, you're not present with them. You're on your phone texting. You're not really listening. You're 1 foot in, 1 foot out of the conversation. And that's not fair to anybody in any relationship dynamic. Not in friendships, not in family ships, not in relationships, not in business partnerships. People deserve presence. And obviously with the rise in social media, it makes it a lot harder, because it is really hard for people to be present when you're speaking to another person, because you're thinking about everything else in your mind, or you hop on your phone as a distraction because you're really disregarding what they say, which in turn also says that this is not a safe space for me to express myself, because anytime I do, they disregard it or they don't pay attention. So it's really, the lesson is really to step out of that vibration and step into a harmonious, developed, mature emotional relationship to where it benefits both of you. So instead of crystal cards this week, I did pull animal cards because animals were calling and they wanted to say hi. So the first card we pulled was deer. Then we have dolphin, which I love. And then we have oyster. So this just clarifies the message, because the deer is hypersensitive. So the deer is a compassionate creature, and this is what is being called. This is the medicine that is calling you. So this is the message literally wrapped up into 2 cards. You need to learn how to be compassionate, be joyous and present, and really in the moment when you're engaging with people, using that hypersensitivity to feel what they feel, to be empathetic to what they're feeling, to truly listen without judgment, to just be joyous and bring that light that maybe they need in that moment. And the oyster is kind of more so the person that you're dealing with. So this could be, like I said, friendships, family, business partnerships, relationship, significant other, whatever. So when you're coming at them with this energy of the deer and the dolphin, the compassion, understanding, love, acceptance, joy, playfulness, when you're coming at them with this energy, this really cracks open the oyster, because as you can see, it's closed. But we all know what lies within oysters is pearls. So when you crack open this oyster by approaching it with this deer-like and dolphin-like energy intertwined, you really open this oyster energy, this person that you're dealing with. Or maybe this is an opportunity, whatever your situation is. But this really cracks them open to bring their highest version of themselves. This really cracks open to where you get behind the scenes of who they are as a person, or behind this opportunity to see what they really truly have to offer, those pearls, those genuine emotional connections, that magic that can be embedded into this dynamic. But it will not happen if you stay in this Page of Swords energy, this selfish, me energy, I. You have to step out of that vibration of selfishness, because granted, yes, we are on a journey by ourselves. Yes, we die alone. We come alone, we die alone. That's fact. But at the same time, we did also come to reincarnate and experience relationships with other people. We came to figure out how we can fix relationships with people, how we can communicate better, how we can love better, how we can learn how to forgive and apologize to one another better. So if you're not open to any of that, if you're so focused on your journey, your solo journey, you miss out on the magic of everything else. Because the magic is within life. It is within connections with other people. It is within the oyster that you crack open, and they show you a whole new world that you've never been exposed to. But that magic, that whole new world, can never be exposed if you're only focused on your own path. So, yes, that was a lot. Yes, that was intense, but I really did enjoy this reading, especially the animal cards, because that was just like sealed the deal. But yeah, just work on that. Work on learning how to restructure and rebuild relationships by still keeping honor to yourself, by still honoring your necessities and boundaries, yet keeping theirs in mind. And how can you honor their boundaries and needs in a way that doesn't deplete you or completely, throw you off trajectory, I guess. But, there's an ebb and flow, a give and take, and that's really what the lovers are. It is this harmonious flow between the two. And it brings gifts. It brings the oyster and the Knight of Cups. It brings gifts that you can't even fathom, but you have to get to that energy before it can even crack open. So I hope the Divine Masculine has a gorgeous week ahead of them, and I will see you next week. Bye.